The Brush Beat Diggers are 12 minutes away from registering their first ever victory in Arvada. They are 0-5 here. They lead 9-3 as we go to the fourth quarter on John Beltran with Dave Urich. Brush has a first down at the Faith Christian 25-yard line. They begin the drive on their own 20, and this is the ninth play of the possession. 25-yard line. In the backfield are Connor Weiser and Eric Garcia. On 1st and 10, Blake is in motion to the left. Tormolen on the pitch left to Garcia. Gets a block, swings it to the outside, and he stumbles to the 20-yard line still on his feet, and he's driven out of bounds towards the 17. That's a gain of close to 8 for Eric Garcia, utilizing his block and using that speed to pick up extra yardage. It'll be a gain officially of 7.
Yeah, he showed some strength. He had to drive off his inside leg and jerk his leg out of the grasp of that Eagle defender. But once he broke free, he was able to keep his balance and show that athleticism to get 4 or 5 more yards.
2nd down and 3 to go from the 18-yard line. The Beat Diggers lined up along the left hash mark. Looking to extend a 6-point advantage. It would be a 2-score lead if the Beat Diggers can do so. Tormolen hands off left side to Weiser to the 15-yard line. He drives for a first down along the left sideline before he's taken down over there. And he delivered some punishment to Stephen Holt, who is down at the 14. It's a gain of 4. And Holt is holding one of his legs, and it looked like Weiser really got the better of that exchange.
Yeah, it's like if you're standing on the train tracks kind of trying to tackle a train when it's running right at you, and that's what happened to him there. And Weiser just ran over the top of him.
11-12 to go in the fourth quarter. With the Beat Diggers up 9-3. Replay of this game to follow. And if you missed any of last week's game, got that on YouTube. Check out our KSIR B106 channel. And highlights, of course, not only on YouTube, but as I mentioned earlier, on KSIRsports.com by clicking on Brush Videos. So Stephen Holt is still down at the 14, which is where the football has been placed, which is where the tackle was made. And with Connor Weiser, when he goes down, Dave, he usually delivers some punishment, especially when they try to gang tackle him. And unfortunately for Holt, he got the tough part of that one.
Yeah. There was one point in there where Weiser was going through the hole off tackle, and he kind of jumped up in the air as he stepped over the top of somebody. He might have stepped right on that kid's leg, or it might have been right there at the end of the play because there was such a crowd of people where he lowered his shoulder and just ran over the top of him.
While they're attending to Stephen Holt, another break. 11-12 to go in the game. Brush 9, Faith Christian 3. This is Brush Beat Digger football on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. Stephen Holt is assisted off the field. The Beat Diggers have the football. 1st and 10 at the Faith Christian 14-yard line. Looking to add to a 9-3 lead in Arvada. John Beltran with Dave Urich with Vince Dalbo lined up as the receiver to the right. Chris Lee is in the backfield with Connor Weiser. In motion to the left is Blake. And on 1st and 10, there's a flag going up, and Connor Weiser has the handoff, and he backs his way to the 12, and more than likely that's against Brush.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a motion penalty.
Illegal motion. But, Dave, that's why I mentioned earlier, if you just get the field goal here, you go up by 2 scores in a low-scoring game, well, that's a killer, because then Faith Christian, a killer for them, because then they're going to have to go to the air more.
Yeah. You get them back out of their game plan. When they scored that last time, what they do, they ran the ball the whole time.
I wonder if Coach Hubbard doesn't regret not trying field goals earlier.
Yeah, exactly, because it could have been 3 field goals for them. They obviously have a kicker that can put it through the uprights. It's very accurate. Had some good distances. The field goal that he kicked, it went clear over the top of the track and almost over the fence.
1st and 15 for the Beat Diggers at the Faith Christian 19-yard line. Rush taking their time in the huddle. They want to take time off the clock, but they've got to add to this lead to have some cushion and security on defense. Weiser and Lee in an eye. Now Lee resets. Tormolen, bootleg left, gets around a man, gets to the 20, to the 15-yard line, along the sideline to the 10, back to the inside towards the 5. What a run by Tormolen. Quarterback. He is close to a first down. He'll be a little bit short. But again, hiding the football very well and picking up 14 yards, I believe.
First down marker, second and 1.
Yeah, that is second down and less than a yard to go at the 5-yard line. What a run by Tormolen.
You bet. He had to give up a lot of ground because the defensive end was so far into our backfield. He had to give up a lot of ground to get around the corner over there. But once he got upfield, boy, he knew where he was running and, again, showed a lot of speed.
Let's see if this is Connor Weiser time. Second and 1 from the 5. Tormolen turns, hands off the lead, right up the gut, towards the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown for Chris Lee from 5 yards away. Rush has extended the lead 15-3.
Yep, just run that dive straight ahead. It was a 25. Lee covered the ball really well. You could tell he had a hand over each nose of the football. He was leaning forward. And like you said, I think the Eagles were thinking it was Connor Weiser time as well, but you know, the Diggers caught him off guard and handed it off the lead that time. Because Weiser's been killing him off tackle with that same play.
Jesus Condon has to attempt the extra point. The Bee Diggers will not go for 2. They'll look to grab a 13-point lead. Eric Garcia will hold.
Number 80.
Yeah, you're going to block Eric McCartney. He was all over the football last time. A little bit of a high snap. The kick is up by Condon. Boy, he booted that one all the way back to Brush. 9:43 to go, fourth quarter. Brush 16, Faith Christian 3 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. 12 plays, 80 yards in 6 minutes and 27 seconds. Chris Lee, right up the gut from 5 yards away, scores. The extra point is good. The Bee Diggers now lead the Faith Christian Eagles 16-3 with 9:43 to go in the game, but now special teams. It's got to be huge for Brush. They did a nice job last week with the exception of one long kickoff return by Fort Morgan's Jared Baldwin. Jesus Cardenas runs towards the football, and he kicks it high and fairly short. It'll be fielded by Isaac Henry at the 11, straight ahead to the 20, stutter stepping to the 25. He still's got a seam to the 30, still on his feet. Across the 35 to the 36. A return of 25 yards. Before the Bee Diggers got down there to make the play, Brett Bostrom and Izzy Hernandez around the football. And how early does Faith Christian now, Dave, go to the air, considering they're down by 2 scores, even though there is plenty of time left in this game?
Yeah, if they don't outthink themselves, if I was them, I'd go back to that pitch outside, like we've been saying, because that's been their bread and butter. They've tried to go to the air. They've thrown the ball 13 times and only completed 3 of those. Not a lot of luck in the air. They better go with what's been working.
First and 10 for Faith Christian at their own 36-yard line. Alex Buckman has had a very tough night, as you just documented through that stat. We have another injured Faith Christian player. That's Orrin Toole. That's their best running back. He is out of the lineup. And there's a pitch left to Isaac Henry, swinging it wide. He cannot get to the outside. He's down at the 35. Connor Weiser was able to outrun Henry and throw him down. They're going to call it back to the line of scrimmage. And they did exactly what you suggested they would do, Dave, but the Bee Diggers were ready for it. Second and 10.
You bet. Our defensive end over here just did a really good job of stringing that thing out wide. He just kept fighting that outside shoulder. He just kept fighting it, and they didn't get a chance to get it turned upfield. And that allows all of our pursuit to come in there and make the tackle when he has to finally cut it up.
It's amazing how much better this defense has played this week. Not that the Bee Diggers were poor last week, but they did miss some tackles that Randy Dreitz addressed. They haven't missed too many in this game. Second down and 10, Faith Christian at their own 36-yard line. Buckman in a shotgun, a 3-step drop. Sets, throws deep over the middle of the pass. Is going to be caught, I believe, at the 46. Reception and a first by Isaac Henry. That's a gain of 19 yards. Well, that's easily the best pass play that Faith Christian has had tonight.
They got 47 yards in the air on 4 completions out of 14 tries. But you know how it goes, man. 2 of the three things that could happen are bad. If they got to rely on that, it's to our favor.
And a shotgun again is Alex Buckman. He's got the snap. 3-step drop, looking to his left. Stutter steps. He's a deep over the middle, wide open to passes. And it walks away. Softball makes a play at the 3. If not, that would have been a touchdown to Nolan Beasley. But Vince Albo closed and knocked the ball away. I think that was Vince right there inside the 5.
Yeah, that was Vince Albo. Like you say, he was behind Vince. He was running a post pattern. It was going to be in the end zone. It was a beautifully thrown ball, and it looked like he had Vince beat, but I think Vince was playing the ball the whole time is the way it looked, because he closed in on it in a hurry and knocked it down with his left hand.
Boy, that was a touchdown-saving bat away by Vince Albo. Second and 10 for the Beat Digger 45. Again, looking to throw his Buckman. Three-step drop out to his left. That pass going to be caught at the 35 along the sideline by Nathan Riddell. Not out of bounds, a first down, and a gain of 14. And Faith Christian now has that passing game going when they need it the most, trailing by 13 with 8:52 to go in Arvada.
Yeah, the things picking up a little bit more now with 61 yards in the air, plus the fact they got out of bounds, so it stops the clock.
No matter what your loan needs, stop by High Plains Bank, 502 Central Avenue in Wiggins. Also inquire by checking and savings accounts as well as CDs. High Plains Bank in Wiggins. First and 10 for the Beat Digger, 31-yard line. In motion to the right. Now Buckman throws over the middle, wide open. The pass is caught. Inside the 15 to the 12. That's Isaac Henry. Let's see if they mark it to the 12 or 13-yard line. It's a gain of 18. And another Faith Christian first down. They are carving up the Beat Digger defense. Eric Garcia made the tackle.
Like, take it back now. I don't want them to throw the ball anymore.
Well, there's plenty of time. They're not using up much time. They haven't even had the ball for a minute. They're already at the 13-yard line. Beat Diggers could certainly use an interception here, end the drive, and create some cushion. Buckman in a shotgun from the Brush 13 with 8.5 to go. Cambier in motion to the left, looking to throw out to his left, into the end zone. Pass is caught. Touchdown. Touchdown to Isaac Henry. 13 yards away. And Faith Christian scores their first touchdown of the game. Rush 16, Faith Christian 9.
Got it up to 92 yards in the air, completing 7 of 18 passes, and just threw it right over the top of Vince Albo's head. He jumped up to knock it down, but just another situation there where Henry was able to get behind our defensive back.
Well, that was way too quick of a drive. 6 plays, 64 yards in 69 seconds. And now Stephen Knorr will attempt the extra point, and then a bad snap looking to throw it into the end zone. That pass is going to be caught. It's caught by Derek McCarthy for a two-point conversion. 8:26 to go in the game. It is Rush 16, Faith Christian 11 on 1010 KSIR and KSIR.com. That Faith Christian touchdown and two-point conversion awoke this Faith Christian crowd. 13 yards from Alex Buckman to Isaac Henry. The two-point conversion pass to Derek McCarthy on a 64-yard drive. And now it's Brush in the lead by only 5, 16-11 with 8:26 to go. You need a good return here. However, we saw Stephen Knorr kick it out of the end zone. The last time Faith Christian got on the board, and this one is high, deep towards Garcia. He's got it at the 4, straight ahead to the 10, to the 15, stutter stepping to the outside of the 20, and he tries to get to the outside, down to the 30, back to the inside of the 35. Garcia still to the 50. Garcia down at the 42-yard line. There is a flag down back at the 20. It's a return of 54 yards, but that one is coming back. It's a block in the back against the Beat Diggers. Holy Muhammad.
That will be half the distance to the goal line.
The Beat Diggers will have awful starting field position after a massive return by Eric Garcia. Wow. And maybe he needed that block in the back, I should say, to steer loose of oncoming traffic, but it's going to cost Brush. And Dave, they got to play this game to win as opposed to not to lose because there's still way too much time left. Faith Christian has all of their timeouts as well.
Yeah, the penalty that
We got to make sure we have ball control. And like we said before, the last time we went on the drive, just to establish that, get that first down, establish the confidence of bringing it back. But, in defense, whichever kid had the block in the back on that play, Garcia changes direction so much, a kid might have felt he had position, and then at the last minute when Garcia changes directions, it causes those kind of things to happen sometimes.
Weiser and Lee in the backfield. First and 10. The Beat Diggers have the football at their own 10 with 8:13 to go in the game, leading 16-11. And Tormolen is confused, and he calls a timeout.
Timeout called for on the play by the Beat Diggers. That will be their second timeout of the second
Beat Diggers have only one timeout remaining, and hopefully that won't matter. The only way the timeout will matter, Dave, is if the Beat Diggers fall behind.
Yeah.
But remember what they did on their last drive. They went 80 yards on 12 plays in 6 minutes and 27 seconds. they come close to doing that again, they'll win this game.
Yeah, they got to eat that clock up. There was a mental error there where we didn't have enough guys on the field. That's why Chimolan had to call that timeout.
Yeah, the thing with Faith Christian scoring is not that they scored, but if that offense was still in the field and maybe they scored in 2 or 3 minutes from now, make a major difference. But Rush's touchdown was virtually wiped out by what Faith Christian just did here in 1 minute and 9 seconds.
Yeah, but I'm just shocked that they were able to start. Their passing game got so effective all of a sudden. They were doing so poorly there for such a long time. You have to remember they were 3 for 13 when they got on a roll and completed 5 or 6
passes. It is 1st and 10.
1st and 10 from the 10-yard line. Weiser and Lee in the backfield. Hand off to Weiser, running right back towards the middle, and he dives towards the 14-yard line. He was grabbed around the ankles, but he was not going down easily.
Weiser takes it out across the 10 near the...
Yeah, they'll give him closer to the 13. A gain of 3, though. 2nd down and 7. The Beat Diggers, I'd say, need at least 3 first downs. At the very least, 1 to get into Faith Christian territory, and 2 to take this down to about 2.5 to 3 minutes left in the game. That still might not be enough, but it puts you in a much better position for your defense should you not score.
Yeah, like you said, we just have to play for that touchdown. We have to play to score again.
2nd down and 7 for the 13-yard line. Torbolan hands it off to Weiser, and he runs right into a Faith Christian Eagle, then uses his muscle to pull his way towards the 16, maybe the 17. Tackle was made by Gunnar Caldwell, only a sophomore. A gain of 4.
It's 3rd and 3.
A huge play coming up with the Beat Diggers leading 16-11 with 7:07 to go from Arvada. They have never won in Arvada. They are 0-5.
So 95 yards now for Weiser on 21 carries. Like you say, this is a huge first down attempt right here.
From the 17, 3rd down and 3. The Beat Diggers are on their own side of the field. Tormolen hand off to Weiser, running it back to the middle. He dives towards the 20. He is very close to a first down. Extremely close. Dave Urich signals first down. Let's see if the officials do the same. And yes, they are moving the sticks. First down for the Beat Diggers.
3, 4 yards to the spot it does. It works for me. And like you said, that clock's running. We're down to 6:43. And
that's still too much time, Dave. We're not even midway through the 4th quarter right now. They need a couple of more first downs at the very least. But the Beat Diggers are taking the time in the huddle. They don't want to make any mistakes. 2 receivers out to the left, 2 to the right. Weiser now with the lone setback on 1st and 10 for their own 20. Tormolen to hand it off to Weiser right up the gut, and he stood up. He backs his way maybe for a yard.
Very short gain is number 44, Weiser.
And that's it, to the 21-yard line.
About a 1-yard
rush, trying to spread them out with the 2 wide outs on each side, and then just run that trap up the middle. But Faith's starting to do a good, they're doing a lot better job of mixing things up there on the line. They're not just standing in a 5-3. They jump back and forth between a 6-man front and that 5-3. They're changing things up there and shooting those gaps and confusing our blocking schemes.
Wouldn't it be something if Faith Christian never gets the football back? Beat Diggers certainly have that ability. 2nd down and 9 for the 21-yard line. Torbolen with a long count. Play action, looking to his right. We'll throw it deep along the sideline. The pass is caught by Baker. First down. Or did he drop it? Oh, he dropped the football to 45. Oh, boy, it looked like he went down. And as he was being tackled, the ball came out. A perfect throw. It's a gain of 25. Instead, it's 3rd and 9. Alex Albright broke it up at the last second.
The ball hit, it's one of those things where when the ball hit the ground, it caused a fumble. And one of those deals where, Randy had it. He just needed to cradle it in and really concentrate on holding on to it. Because if that ball doesn't roll anywhere, he's in the money.
That could be a big play in this game unless the Beat Diggers can make up for it on this play. 3rd and 9 for the 21. 5:33 to go. They lead 16-11. Man in motion to the right is Trevor Blake. Tormolen. Bootleg to the right, taking off with the football across the 20 to the 25, puts his head down, but he's going to be short of the first down. Back to the 26. It's a gain of 5 for Mitch Tormolen. 4th and 4, and the Beat Diggers will have to punt it away.
Now, the smart thing to do here is make sure they take every second off this clock they can. If the officials still haven't wound the play clock yet, so they have an opportunity here to take a lot of time off the clock before they punt it. Remember, we haven't had a good punting game tonight. We've had a punt of, right around 30 yards at a time, so look for Faith Christian to get the ball on about the 50.
You need a good snap as well. This is a critical snap back to the punter, Tyler Stratman, standing at his own 12. Awaiting the snap. Perfect snap. Light rush. He gets it off the side of his foot, headed towards the Faith Christian sideline. Bounce it at the 48. Takes a brush roll across the 50. And that is down at the 48-yard line.
48-yard line.
A punt of only 26 yards. Faith Christian, with 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go, has the football.
No, it's only 26 yards, but it could have been a lot less had one of the Faith Christian beaten and returned it. So, it might have been to our advantage that the ball hit the ground and rolled out of bounds.
Alex Buckman on the last drive
For the 26-yard punt,
4 out of 5 for 64 yards. They had 0 yards rushing on that last drive. They can afford to run the football now. They have plenty of time, and they've got their timeouts in a shotgun. Faith Christian at their own 48-yard line. 1st and 10 with one setback. Buckman has the snap. Play action. Looking to his left. Throws underneath. Wide open as McCartney at the 50. And he runs into a beat digger still on his feet. And he's dragged out of bounds. He's got a first down or close to it. At the 42-yard line, Connor Weiser was in on the play along with Brian Woodward. But it looks like it's a first down and a gain of 10. Let's see if they're going to measure. Yeah, you're better off giving them the first down than a second in inches. Let's see if they've got to bring the sticks all the way across. No, they will.
Mark is close enough for you.
They kind of showed all the action going to the right side, and then McCartney just ran about a 5-yard, maybe a 7-yard out on this other side. They threw it back across the field, and they just caught us a little off guard because you usually don't see people throw it back across the field like that. But again, Faith's showing, how they love to throw the football and run the football over here away from our sideline. They like to keep the ball over here close to their sideline. And even though they were on the near hash mark, that's where they went from. That's where they threw it to.
The sticks are stretched. First down, Christian. 42-yard line.
The Diggers going to have to start figuring out a way to get a little bit of pressure into that backfield. So it's scary to do if they run that pitch. When they get outside wide, we can't afford to have our linebackers stuck up there on the inside when they could be out there making tackles on that force.
It only takes one big play. That's what the Beat Diggers need. But they haven't come up with a big defensive play in 2 Faith Christian possessions here. 1st and 10 from the Beat Digger 42. Toole is in motion to the right. Looking to throw his Buckman. Setting up, heaving it deep over the middle, and that pass is going to be incomplete. It goes by everybody. Into the end zone. Eric Garcia was actually closer than the intended receiver, Nathan Rendell.
3 defenders, ball goes.
2nd down and 10. The Beat Diggers defended that beautifully.
Yep, 8 for 20 now, 102 yards for Buckman. But one of those situations where he just threw it a little bit too deep. Again, they had our defenders beat. They got behind us.
The Beat Diggers had no pressure on Buckman there, and they've had no pressure on him in this second half. They've got to start doing something. If not, he's going to have his way because he has found his accuracy. 2nd down and 10 for Faith Christian at the Brush 42. 4:08 to go in the game. Brush 16, Faith Christian 11. Again, Buckman in a shotgun. Toole in motion to the right. Looking to his left. The pass is caught by, now dropped by McCartney. Had it in his hand. And then it just went off his left hand. 3rd and 10.
It was going to be one of those quick screens out here to this side, a tight end screen. And I think McCartney was looking to run with the football before he actually had it in his hand to our advantage.
With Faith Christian holding the football, they are barely taking time off the clock, even on unsuccessful plays. 3rd and 10 from the Brush 42-yard line. 2 receivers to the right, 1 setback. Buckman again in a shotgun. Has the football, rolling to his right. He has no pressure. He'll take off to the 40-yard line, and he runs into Beat Diggers, and it's down at the 35. He'll pick up 7, maybe close to 8 yards in the play. It'll be 4th down and 3 yards to go with 3:45 to go. Faith Christian will go for it.
brings up a fourth.
And even if they don't make it, the Beatniggers are still going to have to pick up at least a first down. But first things first, can the Beatniggers stop the Eagles?
Luckily, they're taking a lot of time off the clock as they try to get their play onto the field for the first time in a while.
4th and 3 from the Beatnigger 35-yard line. Clock running, 3:19 to go, and now Blair Hubbard, the Faith Christian head coach, calls a timeout. We'll take it with the score. Brush 16, Faith Christian 11 on 1010 KSLR and KSLR.com. Well, this is the play of the game. 4th and 3 for Faith Christian at the Beatnigger 35-yard line. Brush 16, Faith Christian 11 with 3:21 to go in Arvada.
We need some big-time pressure up those A-gaps between the guard and center. We got to have some big pressure up the middle.
Brush 35-yard line.
On 4th and 3, Buckman again in a shotgun. Awaiting the snap. Man in motion to the left is Henry. Handoff right up the gut. And close to a first down is Oren Toole. He is right at the 6.
Ball goes up the middle.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he was closer to the 33, and the Beatniggers have stopped the Faith Christian Eagles.
Tackle made by number 17.
But the tackle was made, incredibly enough, by a freshman, Joe Carwin. Only a gain of 2 to the 33. Beatnigger football with 3:15 to go in the game. Faith Christian does have 2 timeouts remaining. So if the Beatniggers pick up a first down, that's going to be tough for the Eagles.
You know, if we just don't lose any yards here, at least if we punt the football, we should at least get the ball on the other side of the 50.
Well, at the very,
I hate to think like that, but
well, at the very worst, if Faith Christian gets the ball back, it should be with about 2.5 minutes to go. 1st and 10 for the 33. Handoff to Weiser, cutting it back towards the middle, still on his feet. And he dives to the 36. We have a flag down. The gain of 3. And that could be going against the Beatniggers. That'll be a hold against Brush. That is not good.
Holding.
That's going to set up a 1st and real long.
The bad thing is the hold was clear in the back. It was on a defensive end out wide. So it was one of those things that just, it was away from where the point of attack was, so a needless penalty.
On Faith Christian's going to take the penalty, obviously. And it's going to set up a 1st and 20 at the 23-yard line.
Back to
the one good thing is, you know, if we, this is going to allow us to get a little bit more time off that clock as the clock starts to roll right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's huge because they have 2 timeouts to go. Now, if the Beatniggers don't get a first down, Faith Christian's going to get the football back with well under 2 minutes to go, as opposed to 2.5 had they declined that penalty. But you're not going to decline a 10-yard holding penalty. 2:48, and the clock is running 1st and 20 for the Beatniggers at their own 23-yard line. Hand off to Weiser. He's hit right at the line of scrimmage. He was leveled big time by Grant Black, the sophomore. The clock will still run, which means Faith Christian will start taking their timeouts after the next play.
You know, Brush, they had some confusion on that. They're still having a hard time getting guys on the field and who they want out there. And I think that's what happened on that last play is Tremolin was looking over here to see who they wanted to give the football to, and he might have called that play in the huddle. I'm not sure.
Dave, 1 first down here. The game could virtually be over, but you have a 2nd and 20 for Brush at their own 23-yard line, leading 16-11. 2 minutes to go. Tormolen on the bootleg left to the outside to the 25-yard line, and he's brought to the 30. And now Faith Christian calls the timeout. Tormolen gained 7 yards. Alex Albright made the tackle. 3rd down and 13. Faith Christian calls their 2nd timeout with a minute 55 to go in the game, and Brush up by 5.
You know, this is trench time. You know, this is the kind of football that you love to have to prepare you for later on in the season, because you want these kind of games. And we talked about this on the way up here, how much fun it is to be able to come out here and play, you know, nail biters like that, and how exciting it is. But you know, the Diggers here are going to have to make a decision. You know, do they run the football and try to eat some more time off the clock and take a chance that Faith will want to keep their timeout for themselves? Or are they going to go ahead and throw it and run the risk of giving them a little bit more time after we have to punt for football?
It's a good question. Well, I'm not a coach. 3rd down and 13 for the Beat Diggers at their own 30-yard line. They've got to get to the 43.5. 1:55 to go. Faith Christian has 1 timeout remaining. And the bootleg has seemed to work, but they never call that twice in a row.
Right. But, you know, they got Garcia out there, and he's the kind of guy, you get him out in the open field, he can make a lot of stuff happen. And they have him in the backfield right now, so I'd be looking for a quick pitch.
On 3rd and 13 for the 30. Trevor Blake is in motion to the left. Tormolen will hand it off to Weiser, running left, breaks the tackle to 30 to the 35, still on his feet, and he drives towards the 40, and now Faith Christian calls a timeout like he was nearly towards that first down marker. Alex Allwright made the tackle. It's a gain of 10 for Connor Weiser, who's well over 100 yards now. 4th and 3 for Brush at their own 40 with 1:48 to go in the game. The Beat Diggers will have to punt.
Yeah, 107 yards now. You got to look for Faith, try to get in that backfield and block this punt. So this is critical for Brush to maintain control of the football and make sure they get a good snap. That kind of stuff makes me nervous.
Listen, if I'm Brush right now, but again, I don't want to be coaching because I'm not a good one, but you have a timeout remaining. You're 4th and 3 from your 40. Why not go for it? Go on the hard counts. Don't snap the football. See if Faith Christian jumps off sides. And if they don't jump off sides, call your last timeout because you're not going to need that timeout more than likely anyway, so you can use it strategically right now. Just a suggestion.
Nope, that's a great idea.
But, you know, like I said, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and people who know me certainly know that.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a great idea. You know, you're right. They're gonna, if Brush lines up like they're going to go for it, you can bet those defensive linemen of Faith are going to be speeding off, and we haven't used a hard count yet tonight, so it could work.
4th down and 3 for the 40. And the Beat Diggers are looking like they will go for it.
Brush lines up and go for it on 4th and 4.
It's going to bootleg and right. They're actually going for it. Tormolen to the 45-yard line. Let's down to the 47. I don't believe they pulled that off.
Able to turn the corner.
I do not believe they pulled that up on a quick snap. A gain of 7 and a first down. Dave, you're thinking, oh, wow.
I can't believe it either. And that right there could have just sealed the game for them as long as they take care of the football now. As the clock's running, minute 38, minute 37.
Well, just take a knee. You don't even need to hand it off. You take a knee, they have no timeouts remaining. There's no reason to even hand it off.
Just take care of the football.
2 knees and the game is over. On the bootleg right, Tormolen picks up 7 yards. And that's exactly what Faith Christian was thinking, that it was going to be a bluff. Tormolen takes a snap and takes a knee. 1:12 to go. The Beat Diggers will have to snap it at least once more. Back to their own 46-yard line. Dave, what the Beat Digger coaching staff did there was a fit of genius. Because Faith Christian was not ready. They were not ready to make a defensive play. They were stunned that Brush actually went for it.
Right, and I'll tell you what, you got to give a lot of credit to the offensive line out there. Randy Baker, the tight end on this side, did a good job at sealing those Faith Christian defensive ends off, and that's what opened things up for Mitch.
Tormolen takes the snap and takes another knee. 36 seconds to go. 3rd down and 12. The Beat Diggers have the football just shy of their own 45-yard line.
210 yards on the ground tonight for Brush. You got to give credit to Damon Miller, Ethan Brose, Carlos Carrillo, Daniel Soto, Maverick Seawald, and Randy Baker out there at that tight end. Boy, they've played against some kids that are a lot bigger than they are, and they made some room out there and allowed the Diggers to run the ball.
For the first time in school history, the Brush Beat Diggers have defeated the Faith Christian Eagles in Arvada. Final score, Brush 16, Faith Christian 11. We'll come back with a recap right here on 1010 KSLR and KSLR.com.